Hey gamers, Rick here with Game Trade Media, coming to you from GAMA Trade Show in Reno, Nevada, where it's just been delightful getting to see all the publishers. And speaking of publishers, we've got Andy from Looney Labs. These guys are making, you know them from Fluxx. I mean, everyone knows Fluxx. It's everywhere. Now, but you've got something new.
I do.
And I wanna see this game.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. It's called Get the MacGuffin, and it is a fast, easy game that's got a little bit of a fluxiness to it, but others have been comparing it to Love Letter, like Fluxx meets Love Letter, because it's just a few cards, and it's always a short game, but it's the similarities end there because it's really not like anything. It's exciting and different, and so it's got these big, beautiful, oversized cards. Each one is different and colorful and unique.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
And the way it works is that you're simply trying to be the last person with a card. If you're out of the card, if you're out of cards, you're out of the game. Yes, and of course I've put myself in the game.
It's awesome.
Both Kristen. Actually, this game is full of my friends and I because the artist we hired for this, he moved out to California. His name is Alex Bradley. He and his wife left our game group some years ago, but he still remembers them all. So we like this is Rich, this is Josh, this is my lovely wife Kristen. This is John and Gina, friends of ours. This is Allison. This is Will.
That
Basically,
is so cool.
He put all of our friends in the game.
How awesome is that?
Isn't that cool? It's so much fun.
Cool. And the artwork is beautiful.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with it. Shout out to Alex. He did a great job with the artwork. And we kind of crunched him on the deadline. We need this because this game is, I invented this on July 24th, 19. July 24th, 1996 is when I invented Fluxx. And on the sort of the 21st birthday of Fluxx,
last
year,
yeah.
I cooked this. I first cooked this up on July 23rd.
If you guys were wondering, that's also my birthday.
2017. Oh,
yeah.
Well, happy birthday! You share the birthday of Fluxx.
I do.
Yeah. And this because I was kind of like, wow, it's the anniversary of Fluxx. I should try to invent a new game. And I'd been noodling around the ideas for this, so it wasn't completely out of the blue. Mm-hmm. I'd been kind of thinking about this, but it sort of burst fully forward from my head, which is how my best designs really go.
Right.
And so within just a week or two, we were playing pretty close to the version that it turned into. A couple little tweaks in some of the cards. But we just took it everywhere. People were all excited about it. So we basically wanted to fast track this into production as fast as we can. Right. So 9 months, which is very good for a start to finish from game inception to at the printer.
Play,
yeah. So it comes out April 5th.
Okay.
And it's super great. And let's just go ahead and play it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the way it works is everybody gets a hand of no more than 5 cards. Now, in a 2-player game, we will get 5 cards because there's enough of those. But there always has to be something left over. These cards are dead to us. We call that the tomb.
Okay.
And you're never getting, well, unless you're a tomb robber, you're never getting any more cards. So this is, you got to make them last.
Okay.
And when you are out of cards, you are out of the game. So the last person with a card wins. And that includes either in your hand or on the table. And it's a little bit fluxy, as I say, because there are 2 kinds of cards. One is an action, and you do whatever it says, and the other is an object, which is like a keeper in Fluxx. You keep it in front of you. First, you play it. On a subsequent turn, you can use its special power.
Okay. And
then you can also eventually throw it away as your turn action. So all cards are always playable, and some are very powerful. The MacGuffin, of course, itself is the card that will help you win because when you throw it away, it comes right back. So you keep it forever. That's pretty good for staying in the game. But a card that's also very good for this is the crown. So the crown is an object. And when I play this, I become king of the game. And that gives me a very special power, which is to pass.
Okay.
Unless there's a MacGuffin in play. But I am the king, and you must refer to me as Your Majesty.
Oh, wow.
For as long as I am the monarch of the game because I have the crown. That makes it your turn, sir.
Wow, Your Majesty. I would like to, if possible,
yes,
switcheroo with you.
Oh, well, I don't like that. All right, well, fair enough. You're trading hands with me, the switcheroo, so that's a discard. Okay. The action discarded there. Oh, that's funny. Wow, look at that. Okay. I'm going to tell you, you probably should have used this card on me. And since they're object. Oh, well, that's tricky. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and... Well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? As your king, yes. I have the power to pass. So I'm just going to pass.
Because he wants to keep all those cards in his hand.
I want to stay in the game as long as possible.
Well...
So what do you got?
Well, Your Majesty, if someone has the crown in play, that player must immediately...
Oh, so you've assassinated the king. How terrible and unexpected. All right, at least you got one pass out of it.
Right.
So now that's done. So I will play another object. It's the rock. I've got a rock.
Okay.
That's susceptible to being covered by paper, but it smashes any scissors that might show up. Your turn.
All right. I don't really need that because I know. Okay, so I'm going to do the merchant.
Okay.
Which is if only one player has an object, which you do, move one object from that player to you.
So you basically steal my thing. Now, the merchant makes deals. If there were more than one object in play, he would cause them to trade. But it's kind of like the merchant combines the actions from Fluxx of steal a keeper and exchange keepers. Okay. Depending on what's there. Okay, and that's fine. That's a good merchant. I will now. I will now play the Fist of Doom and smash your rock.
Dang it.
Your turn.
Ah. Well, I'll play this, the Spy.
Ah, okay. Well, you remember these because you traded them to me.
Yes.
And I'll go ahead and use this garbage collector to take back the crown and put it back in my hand. Your turn. The interrogator demands to know who has the MacGuffin. I do not have the MacGuffin, and you've already seen my hand.
But I am
so
out.
That means you are now out of the game. I don't even have to play my crown and become king again. I've won that game. So that's how it works as a quick two-player game. Now let's take a look at this. So one of the things I like about the fact that the two-player game, is that because there are only 23 cards in the deck, but you only use about less than half of it, there's a lot of endless variety between the two-player game. It's always different because different combinations come up.
Absolutely.
So let's play again, and we'll just set aside the entire set of cards we used for the first game.
Okay.
We're not going to see any of those ones again. We're going to play with the second half of the deck.
All right. Maybe this time someone will have the MacGuffin, and we'll get to see that.
Indeed so.
Yes.
So there's still 3 cards in the tomb set aside.
Okay.
Without even repeating any of the ones from the first round. Okay. All right. So I dealt. You go first.
Okay. Well, these are very interesting. Okay. So I'm going to do a tomb robber.
Okay. So you're going to go in here and steal one of these still as yet unseen cards and add it to your hand.
All right.
Because our first discard. I'm going to play an action that asks the question, can I use that? I'm going to steal a card at random from your hand and immediately play it.
Okay.
Let's do this one here. Oh, it's the Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal waves at everyone.
Okay.
And that's it. And now it's your turn.
Great.
Not one of the better cards to get when you're using getting a card.
But it still ate away at my cards because I was really happy to feed my hand again.
Yep. Even though it's a do nothing card, it still is a play.
All right. I will play the Shrug Master.
The Shrug Master. You also have the Shrug Master. Very good. Another do nothers. Well, I think it's high time somebody played the MacGuffin.
Okay.
So here it is. The MacGuffin looks like this. It's got a mysterious suitcase. We don't know what's in there, but whatever it is, it's very powerful and important because assuming it's my only card, I can throw it away as my turn action and then take it right back and play it again.
Okay. Interesting.
Like pick it up and put it down. It never really goes away. So, I have the MacGuffin. What do you have?
I have
the hippie. Oh my gosh, you had all 3 of the do nothings. Oh, and by the way, I wanted to give you something. Give me a fist bump, and I'll give you a fist bump because this is the promo card we've been giving away all weekend.
It literally just fell in my hand. Thank you.
And it's a card that's not in the game.
Okay.
It's a promo card. We were gonna have to promote it. So
Nice.
all weekend here, all week at GAMA, I've been going around saying, "Give me a fist bump, and I'll give you a fist bump." But I give
That's
you
cool.
people a fist bump, and I'll give them one of these
I love it.
promo cards. So there you go.
Very cool.
Now, yes, you shouldn't really be adding that into your hand.
Oh, I should?
No, I should. I was saying not. Yes, but it would not save you because I'm going to win this. I've got the MacGuffin.
It's like I'm.
It's not a very powerful card indeed. All right, go ahead.
So I have.
Oh wait, did you do the hippie? It's my turn.
Yes. Dang it.
My turn. Right.
Oh,
So
good, because that means he's dropping a card.
I will play the paper.
Okay.
I know there's no rock out there because we saw that in the half, but the scissors could well be awaiting my paper.
Dang it. All right, I'm going to. I have the backup MacGuffin.
You have the backup MacGuffin.
Yeah, just in case. Just in case the actual gets
Yeah.
destroyed or something.
All right. That's exactly the case. Yeah. The backup MacGuffin takes on all the properties of the real MacGuffin if there is one.
Right.
But as long as I have one, it's
Yeah.
basically, it's like the vice president. It doesn't really do anything as
Right.
long as, it breaks ties in the Senate, I guess. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this. So this is the Vortex. So this gathers up all the cards, shuffles them up, and deals them back out, starting with me. So I get this, and you get this.
All right. Okay.
Nothing changed.
So my
All right.
turn.
Yes, it did.
Well, I'm going to let you know I'm not dead.
Oh, that's great. No, actually, no, you have to hold this for one more turn because it has to be the only thing you have, and that includes objects for that to have any effect.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
first, that I have the real one. That's not going to
Yes,
be of any use. So throw that away.
Yeah, throw it away.
All right, and then I'm gonna give you a chance here.
All right.
No, I shouldn't do that. That doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna use the thief and steal your last card, and win the game. Boom, just like that. All right, but let's play one more time, and shuffle up all the goods and give you one more chance at winning. We'll put in the fist bump
All right,
too,
let's do that.
but we'll also take a look at the last two cards that were held out that time.
All right.
And they were the money and the scissors. The money is probably the most powerful card in here because it can buy anything, including the MacGuffin.
Wow.
And the scissors completes that set. All right, so here we go.
So as you guys have noticed, as we've been playing this, my record of not being able to win a game here at GAMA.
I'm trying to give you a chance. We're going to try one more time and let you see if you can win Get the MacGuffin. But one of the things I love about this game is that it's always over quickly. It's always a fast game because you're never getting any more resources except that one card, the Tomb Robber. And therefore, it always drives to a conclusion quickly. That was one of the design elements I really wanted to have it work at. Unlike Fluxx, because I love Fluxx, but when it can get like, I wish this game would be over now, is when it's been going on forever, and this game will never do that because it's always just a few minutes. And one of the other things that's great about this game is that it works with anywhere from 2 to 11 players.
Wow.
And the 2-player game is always exciting because so many cards are set aside that each game ends up being a very different feel because of the way the different combinations come up. But when you get 11 players, each player is only going to have 2 cards, but it's going to be a long time before their turn happens, and there's going to be a lot of action going on. And it's just an exciting. Oh, and then you're out, and then this person. I love this game so much. I've played it so many times, and I'm so not sick of it yet. So I dealt. But I made you go first last time, so I will go first again this time.
All right.
But I will start things off with one of my favorites, the Grand Marshal waves at everyone.
Yes.
All right.
And in response to the Grand Marshal's wave, I'm just...
Shrugmaster shrugs. Very good. I will ask again, can I use that? Let's do that. I get the paper.
All right. And you can use it.
I did. I was able to use that, yeah.
Then I will play the Spy to look at the cards in another player's hand. Ooh, all right.
Yep. All right, your Spy is done. I think I will, now that you've seen that, I'll use the Tomb Robber to get some new piece of information that you don't have. Oh. All right.
I am going to Vortex.
Vortex, all right.
All right.
Shuffle those up, deal them back out, starting with yourself.
All right. I'm going to go here. I like that because it gave me back Some love right there.
All right, I'm going to use my turn action to simply throw away the paper.
Okay. Oh, that was good. I'm going to trade hands. With the player.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that because I should have used a card. I should have remembered the switcheroo was out there because of that. I think you might have finally got one here because now I play the assassin. It's my last card.
Right.
I get to kill a card of yours, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'm out of cards and you still have one. You have one, sir.
Finally.
Well done. We didn't get a fist bump that time, but it's in there somewhere. Well, anyway, that's Get the MacGuffin.
That was great.
And by the way, do you know what a MacGuffin is?
Isn't it like a false thing that you're chasing?
Well, sort of, yeah. It's a scriptwriter's term, really, that refers.
Plot point of some sort.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thing that drives the story.
Oh, okay.
But more concretely or less so, like depending. It's the thing that everybody's trying to get.
Okay.
So like the Maltese Falcon or the Holy Grail is a good,
Sure.
like an example of they're trying to get that MacGuffin because it'll, it's what they need. Famously, that the briefcase from Pulp Fiction is a MacGuffin because all the characters are very concerned with getting it, but we don't even know what it is. It's not important. We never see what's inside the briefcase.
Right.
It's just spoilers. Sorry alert if you don't know that 20-year-old movie.
What?
We never find out what's in the briefcase.
So you brought a couple other.
I did.
games.
So it comes out April 5th, and on that same day we are releasing our next new version of Fluxx, and this one's educational item number 3 or 4, I guess, which is Anatomy Fluxx. So last year we brought out math and chemistry Fluxx, and they were just such big hits that we decided to keep that going with an even more educational one that's got learning so cooked into it that it's got a new little game design, game mechanic that we haven't seen in a Fluxx version before, which is about trivia or factoids, really, or factlets, I should say. Because a factoid is not really a real fact. It's like humanoid. It's not really factoid. It's like not really a true fact.
Okay.
People use it like it means like an interesting little fact, but actually the word kind of means something that sounds true but isn't.
Okay.
Whereas a factlet is what we call it. And a factlet is an interesting little fact that we have printed on the bottom of each of the keepers in the game. So the organs that you find inside your body are all now turned into the keepers in Anatomy Fluxx, and we see how things go together in the goals. And then there's some pretty interesting rules.
Okay.
And the educational element, as I say, is that each of these things has a little bit of information printed at the bottom of them. And by the way, even though I dress like a doctor, I am not a doctor. When people call me Dr. Looney, I'm like, no, just call me Mr. Looney, or better yet, just call me Andy.
Right.
I barely got out of college with a Bachelor of Science. I'm not a doctor in any way. So it was my friend Dr. Layla, who's actually an emergency room doctor, ER doctor. She was the one who really did most of the design work on them.
Oh, nice.
And because she loves games and she's always wanted to be a game designer too, and she's a brilliant woman. I really think the world of her. And so she really did most of the heavy lifting on this version. Shout out to Layla.
There you go.
And she figured out all these factlets and really was the one saying she wanted it to have a real educational element, like you could play it and really learn something, because she was thinking, wow, I wish we had something like this when I was in med school, because it would have been for study purposes. Exactly. She wanted it to really work for that. And let's look at the way the learning mode works, because there's a meta rule in here called learning mode, I think, and I can't find it, but it should be easy because it's got a white back. Where is it? There it is. So learning mode is a meta rule that says you're going to always have one of the learning rules in play. And there are a couple of those. One is called Name That Organ, and that says that when you're about to play a keeper, you don't play it. You say, hold on, before I tell you what this is, I'm going to read the little factlet on the bottom, and if you can tell me what it is, you get to draw a card. And a little prize for knowing the trivial.
Nice.
The factlet. And it goes to the player, and the next player is the one around, so you kind of take turns in a multiplayer game.
Nice.
And then after people have started to learn what the ones are on the cards, then the other one can come in, which is called knowledge bonus, and that says, before I play this card, I'm gonna tell you what it is, and you got to tell me what the factlet is.
Oh wow.
Yeah, or at least something else true if the alternative factlets rule is in play. And so those are like the three big learning rules that really make the fact element a thing. Nice. And it's got a lot of other little educational elements too, because there's creepers that represent disease and
bacteria.
We got bacteria right there, and we've got a couple of ungoals, because if you get too many bad things, you can all players lose because of disease.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little bit heavy actually in some of the areas, because
Yeah, because
it's got truth.
Yeah.
You know?
So one of the keepers here,
There's
I'm gonna read to you, the audience, the fact.
Okay, factlet, yeah.
And food enters via lower esophageal sphincter and leaves via the pyloric sphincter. What organ am I?
Is there a listening audience who's going to call in with this?
If you guys know it, just comment below. And if you do comment below with the right answer, the first person with the right answer in the comments, I'll send you something. It won't be what this does or any of that. But the answer is going to be in the comments.
Okay.
We got to keep that one kind of.
All right. Well, I'll just shuffle that one right back on in. And but just want to tell you one other fun thing about the game is I like to have little zanier rules in here, and so this one's got one there too. That's if you have the heart in front of you, I just shuffle them back in. But if you have the heart, you have to do a heartbeat thing.
While you're playing?
Well, actually, until your turn, keep it going until your next turn comes around, and then you draw 2 cards.
Oh, nice.
As a bonus for
keeping it up,
keeping the heartbeat going, and you can kind of speed it up or slow it down. It's like exactly. Yeah, you got it. So yeah, it's and I would never have expected that I would do this game, because I'm frankly a pretty squeamish guy. I like for the things that are on the inside of the body to stay there.
Yeah, and
I don't want to look at them. I don't want, but it just became kind of obvious. Like all these body parts go together in certain ways.
Right.
If I just had a doctor friend to design it for me,
right.
There you are. There you're doing it.
I like it.
Practically couldn't stop her. But although I didn't do much of it, but there's one of the things that I love about this game. Actually, there's one that I did come up with, was skull, combining a goal that combined. So we kind of took bones as an all-encompassing organ and called it bone.
Right.
And then so the bone that surrounds the brain is the skull. So a goal that is the brain and bone is called skull.
Nice.
That was one of mine. Most of them I didn't do. But one of the other things I did do that I think is great is that she was going to leave out the appendix.
Why would she do that?
Well, because it doesn't do anything, right? And I said, no, that's perfect. Put it in, but there are no goals. It's not used for anything. There are no goals that go for it. Plus, there's a factlet that points out, well, what we're starting to learn maybe what it does. But then it's not completely useless, because there's an action called appendectomy that allows you to, if you remove that appendix, especially too if it's become diseased, because that's the thing about the creepers is they attach. So if it's a mutated, if it's we sort of attach that. And if the cancer is attached to that, if it's a cancerous appendix, then
you want to do that,
you've got to cut that out. So you get another card draw or whatever it is.
Nice.
So it's and things like the antibiotics only work on bacteria because they don't work on viruses.
Right.
So we got that, little ways that it's educational baked into the thing. I think this is really great.
I love it.
And the art came out really nice, even though it's discussing body parts. It looks great. And I've even learned a thing or two from this game, even much as I'm like, I don't want to know too much about this. My mind was blown by the factlet on this one, which let me find it, and let's see if you can get it.
Okay.
And see if you know this about this particular organ.
Okay.
Got to find it now, of course. It's going to take me an hour just to look through and find all the ones. It's always going to be the last one I look at. Always the way this goes.
I'm actually very prepared for this.
Okay, here we go. Right has 3 lobes. Left has 2 lobes.
That would be the lungs.
I know,
Yeah.
and why? Because the one over here needs to have room for the heart. Mm-hmm. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. But I never knew that the lungs were not symmetrical.
Yep.
Until I worked on this game. So,
awesome.
Isn't that neat? I found that just fascinating and interesting, and I like.
So
I learned a few things.
For all of you out there that didn't know, I did medicine for 20 years.
Well, I wondered. I figured because of your fancy language regarding the heartbeat. So I get. What do you think? Does it pass muster?
It does. And one of the things I do like about it is that it isn't overly complicated, and yet it's still educational enough that if your school age children are going to learn, they are absolutely going to learn something from this and take it to their classroom.
Yeah.
And that's invaluable right there by
Super.
itself.
Super good.
I love it.
Super great. Well, this comes out on April 5th, and I hope everybody goes out and gets a copy.
Yes, you should go to your friendly local game store, let them know that you saw this.
Buy it and donate it to your school.
There you have it right there, Fluxx.
Anatomy Fluxx, joining Chemistry Fluxx, Math Fluxx, and Nature Fluxx in our educational series.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah. And you brought one last thing we can talk about
real
quick.
This one's not quite as new because this one came out a couple months ago, but it's still pretty fresh because it only came out a couple months ago.
I actually think we did a video about this.
Super proud of this.
Where did we talk about this? PAX Unplugged.
PAX Unplugged.
Yep.
Right. That was right before it came out.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is an inductive logic game, and it's a brand new edition of a classic that was originally played with the Looney Pyramid game system that I am so very, very proud of. And we wanted to include all the greatest games in Pyramid Arcade for the system, but we had to leave this one out of that because it just doesn't use the right set of equipment for what we were including in the series, in the arcade. It uses a lot of pieces of just a few colors, and the arcade has all the colors, and it needs all these other coins and tokens and stuff, and in particular, it needs the marking stones. But I also wanted to make a new edition that really took it in a little bit new direction, which is why, now we have, instead of 3 sizes of pyramids, we have pyramids along with wedges and blocks. And they only come in 3 colors, but plenty of each of those colors.
Okay.
And best of all, it has a set of these rule cards that are programmed up where you have these little marking clips that, of course, I've lost in here. Here we go. These marking clips attached to the cards to call out the particular choices that you, as the moderator, make. So, for example, here, this one's going to say, must contain, at least one or exactly the same, exactly one or exactly 2. So you kind of choose, a different, number of those, but it's still going to be pieces pointing at another piece. And all of them are going to have these little decoy clips that, potentially are going to have a decoy clip. So that it will always use 2 clips is my point. Okay. So if the parameter doesn't really have 2 choices for that rule, you'll still put a second clip on there. Okay. I'm not necessarily doing a very good a job of explaining this, but it's very intuitive and makes sense when you're really using the cards. So let me just run a puzzle for you. Okay. And I will. I get to use. Yeah, I will build for you 2 that get you started. Okay. One that follows my secret rule, which I will mark here with 2 clips, as I was trying to explain before, and we'll say that and that. So that's my secret rule that you are trying to figure out. And then of these pieces, I will build a starting example. And I've got a couple of different starts that I always like to use that just, this particular pair, I can build, I can use this particular pair to start all of the easy rules in the set except for one. And so I've randomly drawn one of the easy ones and marked it. And then the only question is which particular one follows this initial rule. And so it's this one. So this one follows the secret rule, and this one does not. Okay. So you're trying to figure out what the secret rule is by building more of these structures, seeing how they get marked, and deducing from that what the rule must be.
All right. So
So build a new structure, and I will mark it for you. Now, in a multiple person game, you'd be competing with somebody else to be the first to figure it out, and there's a whole system for getting a chance to guess.
Okay.
But here you're just going to see how many turns it takes you to figure it out.
So I will do this.
Okay. It's a very interesting structure. That, however, does not follow my secret rule.
Okay.
So I mark it with a black stone.
And do I do one for this as well?
You're just building more structures.
Okay.
You're going to keep on building structures and finding out whether they follow the rule or not until you can figure out what the rule is.
All right. So I'm going to do this.
Okay. You remind myself of the rule. All right. That's right. Very good. That, however, does not follow the secret rule.
All right. So this one and
No. You just do them one at a time now, unless you're wanting to add more to that set.
No, just this one.
To that structure. So that's
structure.
That's the whole structure. We call each of these little things a structure. And it could have only one piece, and we'd still call it a structure.
Okay.
That does not follow the rule.
Wow. All right.
This game, of course, invented by my very good friend Corey Heath, one of the most popular games for the pyramid system that I did not invent. Joins the ranks of Homeworld, my very favorite game of all. Do you play Homeworld?
I have not.
That's my very favorite game of any form, invented by my good friend John Cooper. And if you can learn that game and beat me, I will give you a medal.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
That does not follow the secret rule.
Wow. So what I'm looking at here,
let's talk through your logical.
I see that these three are all the same shape.
Yeah.
And that one must be above. I'm thinking all three are the same, and one must be above the others. That absolutely would not have done that. This one is two different shapes, but pointing at each other. That's what what I'm reading here. But
look at the board. Nothing here is following the rule except the one I built to show you.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that structure have that none of these others have?
That structure has I'll do it like this. One of each color.
All right. That follows the secret rule.
Okay.
But do you want to guess what the secret rule is?
Three items, different colored, in a pyramid or in a stack.
Okay, that's a lot of different factors.
Okay.
And that is not the rule.
Okay.
So let me I will now counter your guess.
Okay.
By building for you a structure that follows my secret rule but does not follow yours.
Okay.
And I want you to look at this and learn that follows my secret rule. And yet did not follow your rule even at all.
Yeah, and it doesn't follow this rule.
Well, I don't know what rule you think that is, but that follows this rule. And so does that, and none of these other ones do. Here's a little list of some of the attribute possibilities that appear, or even you might want to just take a look at some of the other cards. Why don't you just take a scroll through some of the cards in the deck here and see what some of the other rule possibilities
I think I know this one now.
Oh, you think you got it?
I think I have it now.
You think you got it? Well,
yeah,
let's see it.
I'm going to do it again.
Let's build a new structure.
Very similar to what you have done.
Okay. Let me just ask you this. Do you think, let's do it this way.
Yeah.
In a more than two-person game, if you had a competitor, you'd be doing these little quiz things. So let's run this one with a little quiz. So take a black and white stone, and if you think this new one is going to follow the rule and get a white stone, hold a white stone out of your hand. If you think it's going to get a black stone, hold a black stone out of your hand. And wait till we're all doing that, and then we'll reveal. All right? Here we go. Yeah. All right. That does, in fact, follow the secret rule.
All right.
And that would mean that you would have earned one of these little guessing cubes,
Okay.
which you need to spend in order to make an official game-winning guess.
Okay. So I will spend this. And so the secret rule is you must build a structure using at least one blue piece.
At least one blue piece.
Yes.
It's a very good guess. And that does follow the secret rule. That does follow the evidence on the table.
Yes.
But it does not fit my secret rule.
Wow.
And I will prove that to you by building a new structure that looks like this. And this has at least one blue pyramid, a blue piece, would you agree?
I would agree.
And yet, this one gets a black stone because it does not follow the rule.
All right. Can I guess without building a
Sure.
new structure? So then it would be the structure must contain at least one, but no more than two blue pieces.
But no more than two. Well, then I would again have to say no more than two would mean that this structure with two pieces in it would get, by your rule, a white stone, but in fact gets a black stone. Would you like to guess one more time?
My brain is really sore right
No,
now.
you're so close. Aren't they lovely to stack?
Yes,
They're just
I
so,
didn't even-
so enjoyable.
First off, I didn't even think of doing that in any of my
I know, and
builds.
that's why this is another reason I wanted to build you that, just to show you
Uh-huh.
that it does that. Because that's one of the other things about this game is that we wanted to do something
Mm-hmm.
more than just repackage the game like it had been, i.e. with pyramids. We wanted to add freshness and bring in some new shapes. Because
Okay.
this game has been around for almost 20 years.
Right.
And there are some diehard fans of it who've played the heck out of it using pyramids. And for them, I wanted to get them excited about it by bringing in new shapes.
Sure.
And like this, I love this one. I'm always building these little these Stonehenge trilithon things. You can't do that with pyramids.
No.
You know? There's some other fun ones too. But do you have a guess for me? What is the rule?
The structure must contain at least one, but no more than two, and they must not cover each other. I don't know.
You're way
No,
overthinking this.
yeah.
It's
Or two of the same shape. No, because those are all the same shape, and
this one here follows the secret rule too. And it's a little. I call this the sewing machine.
that's called the sewing machine.
It's called the sewing machine. Yeah, that one follows the rule. Let's see.
But it doesn't cover.
Yeah, I know. Let's see this.
I can't. I'm.
This
yeah,
follows
yeah.
the rule. I'm just piling you up with more information. That follows the rule.
No, this is very abstract for my brain right now.
Well, I'll go ahead and give it to you at this
Please.
point. So the answer is exactly one blue piece. That's all. You were overthinking it.
Yeah. So if I were to see this and I having not played this before, exactly one, I would have every time just used one, not thinking that I could build more than one. But within the structure, there must be exactly one blue piece.
That's the difference between contain and consist of.
Uh-huh.
If it was consist of exactly one blue piece, then that's true. But must contain exactly one blue
at
piece
least one.
means that so it's got a bunch of other stuff, but it contains one blue piece.
Okay.
This one contains
Contains
two
two
blue pieces,
pieces.
which is why it doesn't work.
And hence
That's
three.
three pieces, so it doesn't work.
All right.
But all these other ones contain
One.
exactly one
right.
blue piece.
I was overthinking it.
It happens. And I gotta say, I will admit that this game is a brain burner that can just get you going. Like you were. I'm stumped. I don't know what to say, and I can get that way too. But people love this game and will play it for hours on end.
Absolutely.
And so I'm pretty excited about this.
And this
new
is available at stores now.
Yes, it is. This came
And
out in December.
How much does this go for?
$40 retail.
$40.
Yeah.
Okay. With these plastic pieces, it's absolutely worth it because there's a lot in this. So
Yeah,
the value
they're
is
beautiful.
absolutely there.
And believe it or not, that was one of the easy ones.
Yeah.
And that, again, maybe you were overthinking it. But there are 40 rule cards in here, and with the way they generate different rules off the clips, it generates more than 200 different rules.
Oh, wow.
So it'll keep you going for a long time.
Absolutely.
But even then, the replay keeps going because people love just creating their own rules too.
Sure.
And we recommend that you not do that until you've spent a number of times being a moderator and really working through the puzzles and playing a lot of the canned ones. But once you do, and we've got a bunch of advice in one of the rule books here for creating your own rules.
Very cool.
Because we know people do like to do that.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Yep.
Very cool. Thank you, Andy, very much for coming up and
Well,
showing us
you
all
so much.
the amazing anatomy, Fluxx, and Get the MacGuffin. Very cool. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
And actually, let's do one of those.
Boom.
There we go. All right.
All right.
Thank you for playing my games.
And if you haven't been playing them, you need to go to your friendly local game store and pick up at least all of them so that you can get immersed into the Looney Labs library of games. I'm Rick here with Game Trade Media, coming to you from GAMA in Reno, and I'll be back in just a little bit with some more amazing interviews. So stay tuned.
Thanks for watching Board Games and Beyond. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.